There have been a lot of people wrong many times during the same series in that Denver-Minnesota series, Stugotz. And it's one of the reasons that I told you I was so excited for how interesting that series was going to be. If you were not watching last night what happened between Denver and Minnesota, and both of those teams are championship worthy. But what's about to happen to Anthony Edwards if he loses is we're going to spend a lot of time talking about him not having enough help. Mm-hmm. You want me to power through it?
Yeah. Yep. He has plenty of help, by the way. I don't want to hear about it.
Well, he doesn't. He's got 2 All-Stars. A Defensive Player of the Year is one of those All-Stars, and he's got the 6th Man of the Year. But he and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander do not have exactly what Jokic has, which is a number 2 that he's making feel like an eternal number 2 because, like Shaq, he can do that for Kobe and for Dwayne and for, what does Tony call Anthony Hardaway? Anfrini Hardaway?
I don't think Kobe views himself as a number 2. I don't think Kobe viewed himself, apologies, as a number 2 ever. Not for a single day, even while playing with Shaq.
Fine, but Shaq made everyone who was his number 2 during his time, he made them into eternal greats, the way Michael Jordan helped make Scottie Pippen an eternal great so that we wouldn't do what we're about to do for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards in their youth, is protect them by saying they don't have enough help. Anthony Edwards wasn't great last night, but Jokic put up what is an all-time performance, and it's a ho-hum performance for him.
Jokic stat of the day, breaking records so often that we're all bored, so blasé. Jokic stat of the day. You know how they say you can get too much of a good thing? Well, what if they're right? And not that you care, but here's another boring-ass amazing thing that Nikola Jokic did recently. It's the boring Jokic stat of the day on the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
There was a piece of sports art in that game where Kevin Harlan is providing the accents and the framing on the end of that game. Denver's up 103-92, and Jokic is at the three-point line, and Gobert has come out to meet him. And I want to get into the basketball dorkiness of what it is Denver is doing there to Gobert, because you eliminate the number 1 defense in the league when you pull Gobert out like that and allow him to not be a rim protector anymore. He ceases to be the defensive player of the year. But the way Harlan framed what Jokic did, where he's at the top of the key and Harlan goes in very slow. The crowd noise supports it. It was really, really beautiful if you appreciate sports excellence. All of it, the broadcasting of it, the noise in a stadium. Harlan described it as Jokic dancing with Gobert because they're at the top of the key, and then Jokic makes the 3 to finish the game with 3 minutes left. And Harlan just screams, he's putting together a masterpiece.
It was great.
Because he goes for 40 points, Stugotz, with no turnovers.
Crazy.
Like, with no turnovers. Are you kidding me? How do you play the defensive player of the year, the 4-time defensive player of the year, guy who's going to make the Hall of Fame because of his defense, and you have no turnovers? You go 8 for 9 on him. And Murray told a story the other day that informs some of what you're watching in that series. Murray said that earlier in his career, Jokic was playing against Gobert late in the game. And Gobert is waving off the help that's coming over to help him on Jokic. He's waving it off. And Jokic, who hasn't shown us much personality, says to Gobert, according to Murray, brother, I have 47.
I love that.
What are you doing waving off the help you clearly need? And I know we do this thing where we rip everybody, but I think Anthony Edwards has what needs to be the correct analysis. This is the guy people are putting in a class with young Michael Jordan, and he's got the correct analysis after the game.
I just laugh. That's all I can do. I mean, I can't be mad because he good, man. I think I said that after game 1 when we won, and game 2, like he the MVP, he's the best player in the NBA. And he showed it the last 3 games in a row. Yeah, tonight he was special tonight. I got to give him his flowers. It was. I mean, I don't know what we were supposed to do. He was that guy.
Minnesota really missed Mike Conley last night as well. So when we talk about the injuries all throughout the playoffs, that's where Anthony Edwards was really struggling most, is there was no other shot creator on the floor for them. They were playing without a point guard. And so Denver defensively was just blitzing Anthony Edwards nonstop, forcing the ball out of his hand. Karl-Anthony Towns actually had a very good game, but they had nothing else from there.
But you have to marvel at his efficiency, Jokic, because Jalen Brunson had 44 points on 35 shots last night. Jokic had 40 points on 22 shots last night. He was 15 of 22. I mean, my goodness.
The thing that he is, I don't know what else you can say other by way of compliment or tribute than Anthony Edwards saying, yeah, I just have to laugh because that's the best player in our league and there's nothing you can do about it and I don't know what to do and I'm just going to laugh. And they're going to go home, and I hope they win there because I want to see a champion tested in a Game 7. But if you like the basketball nerdiness, and Jeremy, I know you do, when you go brush screens, inverted ball screens for a center, like like they're using him in a way. You realize Wembanyama is going to do all this into the game. Jokic is preparing us for the unstoppability of Wembanyama when the game gets ruined. We're not yet at the game being ruined, but the cement mixer can do it. And next up is the pogo stick 7'4" guy who's going to get better. And they're going to create all sorts of things offensively for these people that make it possible to have a 40-point game with no turnovers. You realize that would have been the stat line if Jokic was playing against us, right? It would have been more points, but it would have been similar in terms of no turnovers, and you can't do anything about it.
He turns Rudy Gobert into an ineffective defender when that guy's been a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and it's in part because you have Jamal Crawford last night referring to him as Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Wilt Chamberlain, all in the span of like 5 different possessions.
Left out Michael, though.
Let's talk about something here, though, Stugotz, as it relates to what the big man has been in that sport, because I see that Shaquille O'Neal is now telling TMZ that he is selling gummies, and I want to ask you.
What isn't he selling?
What?
Well, this is what I wanted to ask you guys, because when I think of selling yourself, I think of Kevin Hart, I think of Kiss, the rock band. And I wanted to ask you, in sports, who finishes in second place to putting themselves out there and selling every last thing to Shaquille O'Neal? And the reason I asked the question is because throughout my history, Stugotz, back when I wrote a magazine cover story on Shaquille O'Neal, I was informed by ESPN, I'd never known this before, that Shaquille O'Neal doesn't sell on magazine covers because the big man doesn't sell on magazine covers. And it was then later explained to me when I started doing some of the research that America doesn't have a connection point with the big man. So when I ask you this question, who's the second most popular big man ever? Is it Bill Walton? Like just a person who gets to be likable and gets to be an everyman and gets to be a commercial spokesman for everything, because the big man generally isn't like that way. And in the cases of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for example, it can be so awkward to grow up tall as a kid that you can become someone who just doesn't like people very much.
He's a giant that everybody loves.
But he's 6'6" in this sport.
That's a giant, yeah.
Yeah, but in this sport, 6'6" is not a giant.
Boban. That's a good one.
That is a good one. Bo Ben,
we love him.
He's gotten more commercial appeal than
How
almost
good he is.
any other. Well, that for sure. But then that's a good nomination.
It's a great one.
Anyone
yes.
of that size. But it's also with him, as it was with sort of Manute Bol or Sean Bradley. It's sort of you get to make fun of him, right? He's a crowd favorite. I'm talking about big man who's also dominant, and then you love him even though he's ruining your sport because you can't stop him. He's too big, and people think he's been given a gift in the crib even though he was the 41st pick in the draft. Like, they think he's been given a DNA gift that makes him preternaturally gifted in this regard, and obviously it helps, but as John Amici likes to say, there are a lot of 6'10" people working at Subway.
Taco Fall.
Not a bad one.
No,
People love
Go
Taco
Knicks.
Fall.
but also not
a novelty.
but not excellent. Yeah, I'm not talking about the novelty. I'm talking about somebody who dominates. No, look, it's hard to do. You're
He's
not
a
gonna,
nice guy.
He is. You're going to have a hard time finding a second place for someone who's dominated a sport, sort of wrecks it with his size, and you just sort of think it's unfair.
Did Wilt do a lot of commercials in his time? Like when he was at the height of Wilt Chamberlain, was he doing a lot of stuff? I don't know.
I'm
He
guessing.
seems like a guy that would be.
I'm guessing that,
Right.
yes, that Wilt Chamberlain got plenty.
Yao Ming.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's
How about
excellent.
Wemby? Is this in the future of Wemby? If he's not having his guards punch Britney Spears?
It seems to be
Allegedly.
in his wheelhouse, and especially if he's got the Nike marketing. Can you guys get for me, please, the Nike commercial campaign on Wembanyama so I could just show people? Because this is a big part of it, Stugotz. I miss the excellence of the sports commercial. I miss the excellence of the commercial in general. I tend to be pretty disappointed even when the Super Bowl arrives because I want things that are more clever and more creative. And ESPN spoiled me because with Wyman Kennedy, they got so good at the marketing of sports that they were doing exactly what Nike was doing. And Nike does this for Wembanyama, and this is going to help a great deal because I will remind you that Michael Jordan, while not terribly interesting in front of microphones, got framed the mythology by Spike Lee and Nike in a way that really served him, even though he wasn't giving them words to help.
274 field goals, 128 three-pointers, 254 blocks. No player in league history has averaged 20 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 1 steal, and 1 3 per game before.
Did I see that right? I believe aliens are real and hoop among us.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, Goosey's.
I mean, do something first.
Sounded like he did something.
It did sound like everything in that commercial was saying the facts that would allow someone to surmise that he had done something, except for America's foremost critic right here.
Oh, he did something. He went 22-60. I mean, come on, please. Have a winning season. Just once.
He has no help.
Yeah, it's a team issue.
I don't care.
You talk about a gift in the crib, Dan. 1 out of 6 people who reach 7 feet tall are in the NBA.
Wow.
1 out of 6. So if you just grow to be 7 feet, you're in the NBA. So there really is a gift in the crib. If you are talking about just being born tall, you're going to end up there.
It certainly helps, but what you just said to me is that 5 out of 6 aren't. So there are people
Different in the population under 7 feet, though, Dan. I
Agreed.
imagine that's
Yes.
a lot bigger percentage.
Thank
It
you.
really stinks for those who don't make it, who grow to 7
God,
feet
what a
tall and don't make it.
nightmare.
Oh, my goodness.
You have to feel like a giant loser, right?
Because you're always
Literally.
asked if you play basketball
course
when
you
you're
are.
that height. No,
No.
I'm an accountant.
It is problematic when you want to shower in hotels. It's hard if you want to sleep in a normal human bed. I don't know how many of you. How do you guys feel about your feet hanging off of a bed while you're sleeping? Do any of you do that? At Le Batard Show, Juju, do any of you sleep with your feet off the bed?
Do you know how small the bed would have to be for my feet to be hanging off of them?
That's a funny visual.
He's sleeping in a dollhouse.
I do this thing with my feet where I flap up because I like the cover. I don't want my feet sticking out of the covers, so I lift my legs up so the covers fall underneath my feet and flap it down. So it's a little cocoon. I create a little cocoon at my feet so my feet can't get out.
Cute.
Every night.
Some of my favorite videos on TikTok and YouTube are just tall people's perspective. Like there's this one super tall guy that just films what he sees at the grocery store, and you see like the top of the like shopping aisles, and you're like, oh my God, I had no idea it looked like that up there.
How annoying do you think you guys would find it if every time you bathed and showered, you couldn't get under the nozzle? That the nozzle in a hotel wasn't where you needed it to be to put it over your head. I've told you before, one of those commercials that Shaq does for that insurance he doesn't use, he is singing over the curtains and the nozzle is around his neck, and I don't think it's a joke. I think that's just how that shower looked.
Are you talking about the general?
Whichever insurance he's marketing for that he doesn't, that we have accused him of not using. I really do think that it would be Billy's anarchist dream for Meadowlark to pay him as a consultant, and then at the end of his findings, he comes to me with a report, and he says with a giant smile on his face, Dan, your problems throughout your company, they're all me. I've discovered the problem. They are all me.
But the good news, I have the solution.
Promote me.
No one better equipped to solve the Billy problem than Billy.
Sam Morril is with us. This is early for him. He's a late-night comic. He lives a big, loud life at night, and he's got more of those T-shirts than any human being I know. There it is, the Isaiah Hartenstein Die Hard T-shirt. Look at him. He's feeling himself today. I was surprised you weren't at the game yesterday. I should tell the people, he's our senior Knicks correspondent. He's the commissioner of fandom. He's got shows coming up in Lexington, in Southern California, in Atlantic City, Rochester. He'll be in Miami. And same time tomorrow is his Netflix special. What happened? I thought for sure you would be there soaring behind your team last night.
If there's a game 7, I'll be there, man. I get too nervous, man. I'm not fun to watch these games with. I'm panicking. I'm a wreck. Thank God they blew that one out in the second half. But yeah, I'm not fun to watch these with. I don't want to be there.
Do you want a game 7?
Of course not. I said if there is one, I'll be there, and I'll definitely be there in the next round. But I was pretty nervous yesterday. I got to be honest.
Sam, you haven't been nervous throughout this. You've told me at every turn that you think you can beat Boston. What happened?
Well, I forgot that Jalen Brunson is like King Henry V, and he doesn't need to have his full force. He can be outnumbered, and he can still have a depleted army and win the war.
Mm-hmm. Sam, I thought the same thing. After Game 3, they squandered an opportunity, Game 3, to win that game on the road, go up 3-0. It came back 2-2. I was very nervous headed into last night. You thought
the same thing, that Jalen Brunson was like King Henry?
Well, that too, yes. Yeah. But I was nervous. Knicks fans were nervous last night, you know?
We were nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that Siakam finally started to play well with the absence of OG Anunoby. OG was shutting his ass down. OG is so essential. I mean, we're down a lot of players right now. This is nerve-wracking for us. I think we're clearly the better team. I think even if you're a reasonable Pacers fan, you realize the Knicks are the better team. We're playing down 4 key players. It's crazy.
So that's what your answer would be, right? When I ask you, well, how did your confidence become something so shaky that in the second round it could be tested by a 6 seed? It's just the injuries, right?
Just the injuries, of course. I think losing OG Anunoby was a big blow because we had to play, and kudos Tibbs for adjusting. He went with the small ball lineup, and it worked out starting Deuce yesterday. So I liked it. And Precious gave us great minutes. And same, shout out Alec Burks for being, his number was called. I know a lot of Knicks fans were nervous with Alec Burks.
Not me.
He's been balling, dude.
Yep. I told Dan that guy can give you 20 points on any given night, and he's done it. He's done it twice. I mean, Dan, your thoughts? Apologize to Alec Burks.
He hadn't given you 20 points since February.
19 a game, the last 2.
The shirt. Take me, for the audio audience, Sam, just take me on a tour of the shirt you're presently wearing.
Isaiah Hartenstein, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yeah, I've been a big Hartenstein supporter for a long time. Knicks fans, we believe in our players, and we don't like when major media people trash them, and that only made me a bigger Hardenstein fan, seeing how he didn't become shaken. He became powerful. He became a monster on the glass, and you saw it last night. His defense he's been the anchor for us. He's been amazing. And 12 offensive boards last night. This guy is we need him next year. I hope he stays a Knick. He's been incredible.
What'd you think of the Pacers coming out thinking they're a bunch of tough guys at the Mecca last night, huh? Got a little chippy there, Sam.
I mean, Dante just made me think of like Jamie Kennedy in Malibu's Most Wanted, but like tough. You know what I mean? Like, I love that kid. I think he's like, he's just a badass. I love him. He's, yeah, man. It was a mix between that and like Rabbit and 8 Mile. You know, like this dude I believe in Dante. I think he's got that like 90s Knicks kind of edge to him. So does Josh Hart. We're a lot of tough players. And look, when Pacers fans are complaining, like Knicks fans, you want a tough series, but you know, you complain about fouls. I don't care if it's physical. You just got to blow the whistle. It's hilarious that Pacers. I saw Bill Simmons post like, "Oh, the Knicks and Scott Foster." The Pacers were getting every call in the first half. It was comical, I thought, and they were getting every call in Game 3. Game 4 didn't matter because they beat our ass, but Game 3 and Game 5. Game 3 they gave them one back for what they thought they gave us in Game 1, and then last night they were getting every whistle. We just happened to outplay them.
How we do it.
I'm curious how it is that you're too nervous for a Game 5, but you'll be there for a Game 7.
Because it's a must win.
How do your nerves end up playing out? Did you really not go yesterday because you thought it would be too much for your anxiety and you don't like how you behave?
Well, I usually, if I don't go, I usually have people over, and I need to be alone.
So you have the people over, and they do what with you being this way? They know you well enough to know it's okay that he's screaming at the television?
Yeah, they like it. I have enough crazy people in my group that you know, they go nuts too.
Did you ask Sam if he wanted a Game 7? No one wants a Game 7 when you're up 3-2.
It was an odd question.
No. Here's why I would tell you, like, maybe not fans, but if you're telling me
you want it.
Yes, I want it for a number of different reasons.
Pacers want a Game 7.
Yes. Here's my question when you say that it's odd, though, and I understand why you would say it. If you're confident in your team, if you tell me again and again that Mecca's the hardest place to play, and it's the greatest sound, and I want to remember something forever, and you're better than the other team, why not one game for everything? You get to watch it. You get to be there. You get to remember this series forever when Larry Johnson is making a 4-pointer.
I'll remember this series forever regardless. I want to end this thing in Indiana.
You will not.
Dan, I will. Jalen Brunson got hurt. He came back in the second half. I'll remember this series forever.
Yeah, also, Dan, I didn't appreciate your tone with the Mecca's the hardest place to play. It is the hardest place to play.
Right. Yes.
And the fans are the best. Are we going to talk about Draymond's ridiculous unlikability on TNT?
Well, let's play this sound for Sam and the audience.
Why does Knicks fans think I hate the Knicks, though?
Why do they? Because you did say you didn't like New York.
No, that's a lie.
But I thought you said.
I told the truth about the team. And the truth about the team was it's a fluke.
That's why they don't like you. That's why. But you're saying that their good season that they've had in the last whatever, you said is a fluke.
This year is what you said.
He said this year's team is a fluke.
Okay, so here's what I said.
A fluke.
I said this team, they're winning right now. And it could be, I think it's a setup like the Atlanta Hawks in 2021.
Right.
And if you remember back to maybe 2016-17, the Portland Trailblazers paid all of those guys because they had that one good year, and then they got jammed up. And I think this New York Knicks team could be a setup to get jammed up.
Is that what you're objecting to, or something else?
If you're comparing Alan Crabb and Al-Farouq Aminu to OG Anunoby and all these other guys, you're out of your mind. Knicks are a fluke. We're down 4 rotation players, including Julius Randle, an All-NBA guy. OG Anunoby, a defensive beast. You remember defense, Draymond. You used to play it before you went straight for the headlock. Remember? You want to talk about a fluke? You being in the Hall of Fame is a fluke, Draymond. If you aren't drafted the Warriors, not only are you not in the Hall of Fame, you might be in a psych ward right now, or best case playing in Europe. Steph saving your career is a fluke. No one else would be this patient with you. No other star. So maybe instead of trying to rain on our parade and the first joy we've had in years, let us enjoy it the way the rest of TNT, like Kenny Smith, is letting us enjoy it.
I love when you get pissed off.
Well, Draymond's not here. You know that, right, Sam? That's just a video.
No, he's directing.
I'm talking into the camera.
Right.
Listening.
Attaboy.
A genuine question, though, when it comes to this Knicks group, like if there are no moves made and you have this core moving forward for the next 5, 6, 7 years, this is the group. What do we think is the higher likelihood, that this group wins a championship or that they never get back to the conference finals again? Ooh. Because I kind of think it's probably the latter, given the people who were out in the East this year.
I think, first of all, if you think Trae Young has the leadership or the talent of Jalen Brunson, you don't watch basketball. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we are missing – do you not hear what I'm saying? We're missing 4 key players, and we're still doing this well. So I think you have to look at what our potential is. I think what you saw in January when Randall and OG and all the guys were just banging, we were a team that beats you up and wears you down. And we have to change our identity a little bit to compete. Luckily, Tibbs has made adjustments, and I think he's made – key adjustments, starting McBride yesterday and, having Precious come off the bench for energy. So, look, I think our ceiling is pretty damn high, and maybe we're not done making moves. That's why you stockpile first-round picks. I think there's a couple more moves Leon might make. But to act like we're a fluke and not in a great position, the best position we've been in 25 years, Draymond, I thought you were like a high IQ basketball guy. I thought that was your whole thing. I respect Draymond Green. I think he is a Hall of Fame player. But, you clearly – I don't get the anger at New York. Like, we're just enjoying our team. We're just happy. We're having a good time. Why is everyone being like, well, this is a fluke. This isn't for real. If you saw your friend in love and he was like, not a cool guy, maybe hadn't found a woman in a while, would you be like, dude, this is bullshit? No.
I might actually.
Would you let him enjoy love?
It's a fluke.
He's screaming at the camera. Draymond, would you let me enjoy love, please? I am in love. I haven't felt this way about the Knicks this century.
Jeremy asked him a question, and he was still responding to Draymond Green.
Well, this was real professional work by the professional comedian. I've seen coaches over the years say to themselves, I don't care what the questions are. I'm going to say what I want to say. He did get around to answering Jeremy's question, but he had a little more to slice off for Draymond there. He pissed you off last night. People are pissing you off, Sam.
It's a fluke.
Yeah. I mean, but I'll say this. I love when the media counts the Knicks out because I think this is a team that wants to be counted out. I think they thrive on it. I think it's fuel. When you saw Siakam, who, by the way, has looked meh. He's had a couple games, but talking to Jalen Brunson and Brunson going back, it's a long series. I love that. I love that Jalen Brunson's like, let us be the humble guys. You guys talk your Tyrese Halliburton talked a lot of in Indiana, and he can, but that's not our style. Our style is more like we're tough, we're going to play ball, and let Tyrese talk a lot of shit because he was pretty quiet last night.
Are Sam and Stugotz surprised at all that Jalen Brunson already has more playoff points than Carmelo Anthony?
I'm not personally, and no disrespect to Carmelo, but I do think that Jalen is the best Knick since the 90s. I just think he's had a pretty big load in his shoulders, and he's delivered. He's been incredible.
I am surprised by that because no one could see this coming. Like, no one. Like, Carmelo, yeah, that is surprising. Like, Jalen Brunson in the moment, this is great, but no one could see, at least I couldn't see, that Jalen Brunson would arrive at a place where he has more playoff points than Carmelo.
It's a fluke.
I mean, how do you not look at Jalen Brunson and just love this guy? How do you not look at the whole team and love this team? They all were guys. They remind me a little bit of Detroit in 2004. A lot of guys who people kind of gave up on, like Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, guys that kind of didn't get their due. Ben Wallace, those types of players. How do you not like this team?
Stugotz has a revised list of top 5 Knicks of all time based on yesterday's proceedings, I guess. Number 5 or OLI?
I have OLI, yeah, I have a ton of them.
All right. You've got a lot of outside looking in.
Just some, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Dave DeBusschere. Bill Bradley, Earl the Pearl, Walt Clyde Frazier, Patrick Ewing, Nicotine, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson.
You're just naming Knicks.
Number 5.
Nicotine has fallen out of the top 5.
It was number 1. That was a week ago. Today's today.
Number 5.
Alec Burks.
Number 4.
Deuce McBride.
3.
Dante DiVincenzo.
2.
Isaiah Hartenstein.
1.
The Mecca.
Sam, how do you feel about that list?
I love Isaiah Hartenstein. You know I love these guys, so I'm fine with it.
Thank you.
I think whatever it takes tampering wise, I will bring Hartenstein back. You know, maybe a tour of New York, something special to make him believe that this is the greatest city in the world. I hope we're able to keep him an OG. You know that's how I feel. So I think they're both key going forward and key to our defensive identity, which is what Knicks fans want. They want a defensive team always.
Sam, I know Brunson's been great in this series, but if the Knicks win the series MVP should go to the Mecca, right?
I think, look, it's a team game, man. And, I love what Hartenstein said about the Knicks fans, where after game 4 and the Knicks got crushed, he was like, we don't deserve the amount of support they give us if this is how we're going to play. So I think they're aware of how great the Mecca is and how great the fans are. And I thought that was like a very, very smart thing for Isaiah to say. I think Josh Hart said something similar. So they know that it's an amazing place to play. There's some other great arenas in basketball, but I don't think anything touches MSG.
It's a fluke.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you think the Knicks will be able to keep Hartenstein with a tour of New York?
You don't know how I do things, man. I got great restaurants lined up, whatever he needs.
It's likely going to come down to money.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was you giving the personal tour. I thought it was one of those duck tours.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a big off season. We're going to have fun. He's going to be like, how could I leave this city? Katz's Deli, this is amazing. They don't have this in Charlotte or whoever tries to court me. I don't know. We're going to keep him. It's going to be great.
Sam, if there is indeed a Game 7 that no Knick fan wants to see, but if there is one on Sunday, I would like to come. I'd like to sit courtside with you, and I am bringing along a good friend of mine if you're interested, okay? Adam Schefter. You, Schefter, courtside at a Knicks game. How do we get it done?
But you have to, wait a minute. You have to get him to get you now 2 tickets, or does Schefter have his own ticket?
These are pricey tickets. These are not easy to get.
Listen, it's on Dan. Me, you, and Schefter. What do you think?
I think I'm going with Chrissy D on Sunday if there's a Game 7, but we'll see.
He's our senior Knicks correspondent. He's too scared and nervous to go see a Game 5. He's Sam Morril.
You understand? There's no choice in a Game 7. Game 5, I'm like, I can't.
You have to go.
Egos I can't look at. I go nuts. But Game 7 is do or die. So there's a Game 7, but man, I'm worried. I'm worried. Mostly about OG's health, because I do know we need him to make this Boston series even interesting. Because what's tough is having all these injuries in a year where I do think Boston is beatable. And we've had so much bad injury luck. Obviously, Boston's a great team, but I do think anything can happen in the playoffs, as we've seen, with your Miami Heat team beating them. Miami played a tough style basketball. And I think that this Knicks team has like a Knicks culture, and I think they could make it interesting, but it's going to be tough if we keep having these injuries.
He's the commissioner of fandom. He's our senior Knicks correspondent. He's got shows coming up in Lexington, in Southern California, Atlantic City, Rochester, and here in Miami. And I will tell you again, the Netflix special, it's excellent, as is all of his work. Same time tomorrow. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, guys. Go Knicks.
Before we get to Lucy and Juju with their thoughts on the WNBA, which tipped off last night, the roast of Tom Brady, according to Variety magazine, was the most watched TV title on Netflix during the week of May 6th, and the second most watched title overall. The special hit 13.8 million views during the May 6th to May 12th viewing window. That's a lot. I expected more, actually.
It was number 1.
I have to scroll down here and look.
That's a lot. I expected more, though.
It was Brooke Shields in Mother of the Bride.
Mother of the Bride.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw it.
26.7 million views.
Oof.
That's crazy.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't?
No. It felt rushed, honestly. Like there were scenes where I'm like, I think they're just trying to get this movie out. Like this seems like this is a one-take scene, and we're good, and let's just keep it moving.
Chris, you say you're making fun of me,
Also,
rightfully so, but 26.7 for Brooke Shields. I figured Tom Brady would get something close to that.
That's also
a lot. Yeah. I expected more.
Can I say something controversial? Benjamin
can.
Bratt was in it. Benjamin Bratt, I felt, and I shouldn't, no disparagement to the Bratt family or anyone involved with Benjamin Bratt. He's 60.
I feel like something bad's coming.
Good for 60, but
always is.
I feel like Benjamin Bratt showed up one time at our studio unannounced.
He did?
With Bryan Cranston.
I walked them up. I was in an elevator with just them two.
So Dan has wanted Cranston on this show for years.
Yeah.
It was the day where Dan wasn't here.
Sedano got him.
Yeah, Sedano and Izzy spoke to him.
Right, yes.
But Benjamin Bratt came along with him because I guess they were in a movie together or something. I don't know.
Right.
And I was like, wow, Benjamin Bratt.
Good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not that he's still not, but
right.
I saw it and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
60 came. Still looks great. If I could look like that at 60, honestly, I would sign up. I mean, if right now, me, today, could switch bodies with 60-year-old Benjamin Bratt, I would do it. But, you know, 54-year-old Benjamin Bratt, that was another animal. Hey, Juju.
What up?
Juju, what's going on? Lucy told me that because I'm conditioned.
I said, nah, damn that. I see what Dan be talking about. Billy is an anarchist. You gonna look at me talking about some damn Juju talking about Benjamin Bratt.
He just leaves that in your lap.
I don't give a damn about Benjamin Bratt ass.
I know.
I'm here to talk WNBA.
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
Yeah, he dropped that in your lap.
The WNBA season started last night.
Right.
Caitlin Clark debut. The Sun stood up in the streets. They stood up in the fire.
Yeah.
DeWanna Bronner proved herself. I've been doing this forever. I'm breaking records. AT Alyssa Thomas, come on, man, triple-double first night. Look out. I think she on MVP watch already. What you think, sis? Lucy, what's up, my sister? It's good to see you. You know what I mean?
Good to see you, Juju. Obviously, Alyssa Thomas is Asia Wilson's the leading candidate for MVP, and I know we're only one game into the season, but the second I saw her walk out in that outfit before the game started, I said, she's MVP this season. Yeah. Everybody else can just go home. It's not worth it. But Alyssa Thomas finished second last year, and you saw that. Like how great she was in that opener against the Fever. She's insane. Yeah. It's probably, I would say, the most stacked WNBA year we've seen in a long time because there's so much star power, especially with this rookie class coming in. I think viewership numbers are going to be insane, and I just want the Fever to win.
Hell yeah, bro. And the competition is gotten bigger and better than ever. Like you see with the Valkyries, salute the Golden State Valkyries. Welcome to the league, next year expansion team. But it's so much talent that's the result. It's so many great players out here that's not on the roster, and it's shining through because, bro, top to bottom, the Sun they're not even talked about as one of the top contenders of the championship this year. But you see top to bottom, three Janae Carrington with the defense on Caitlin last night, locked down. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I think that every team in the W this year, dog, can put their hat in the ring for no competition. Like the New York Knicks are doing in the NBA. Every team in the WNBA is scrappy right now.
So, Juju, obviously the Aces are the favorite to three-peat this year, win the title. Who do you think their biggest competition is?
I think their biggest competition is themselves, for real. Like they came out last night, put the foot in ass first early in that game. But then as the game go by, they get more comfortable. Then the Sun came back. Salute to Diana Taurasi turning back the clock. Like, oh my goodness. Like that Suns team, that Mercury team, they are – I think that they're scary because they got Natasha Cloud and they got old girl Kalea Copper from Chicago. They got a team full of slashers. So I don't think that they even have a big man or the type of team that could give the Aces a run or a go, a problem. But like you said, a testament to the scrappiness. They gave them girls a run. So I think that the Vegas Aces' biggest competition is themselves.
No, I had the exact same takeaway because I was so excited watching that game when it was a blowout in the first half because I was like, I'm going to get to see Kate Martin. Yes, this is awesome. Then we didn't get to see Kate Martin. That's okay. Her time will come. When you're looking at this rookie class, obviously Caitlin is kind of the name that we're all focusing on just with all the hype that's come into this season. What did you think of her opener last night?
I mean, I'll give her a B. I mean, because, like, look,
a B.
She's a rookie.
That's
like,
fair.
Yeah, I give her a B. And the B becomes because of the turnovers. You can't have 10 turnovers no matter who you are. But, like you said, I know about Dejanay. I know about the competition level. Like, no one says she's going to come in here and dominate. We say she's going to come in here and do her thing. So as for a rookie on that stage, you know everybody in that arena is here to see you. You know all the hopes and dreams are on your back. It's like LeBron. We haven't seen this type of expectation since LeBron. And for her to still come in and drop a dub, like she dropped the dub now. No, let's not do that. So she had a 41% usage rate last night, which is the same as she had in Iowa. So I think that I give her a B for last night.
Juju, you're a very kind grader, an easy grader, a B. She didn't grab a single rebound. Her team lost by 21 points. It was her debut. I don't know how to handle this because I don't want to criticize Caitlin Clark, but
you do though. If
an NBA player had this much buildup and in his first game lost by 21, no rebounds, all the turnovers, the fouls, I'd be crushing them today. So Lucy says I have to wait 5 games. New job. She was trying to do too much, trying to show off. Probably a little bit nervous. Is that fair? 5 games before I can start criticizing Caitlin Clark? I gave her a C, by the way.
I mean, you act like you gave her an F-. That's one letter grade.
I gave her a C.
Bro, you gave her 79. I gave her 80. Like, that's all that happened. I think that, look, brother, forget 5 games, brother. Have you will criticize right now if you want to, but just know that you're doing all this on wax. And whenever she climbed that mountaintop and slay the dragon, you going to be on wax saying what you said. So I don't give you 5 games. Go ahead, say what you got to say.
Well,
I believe in her.
I already said it, but I'm willing to wait 5 games before I really go in on it. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know?
It's all good.
Okay.
Look, as long as we getting talking heads and our big brothers like you talking about it,
right.
We already having a good start.
Okay.
Juju, what's going on with Jordan Canada? Is she fine or not? Like, because she has a little O next to her name in my fantasy team, and it says that she's out. She missed preseason games, but I have no idea if she's playing in the regular season.
Come on, man. Neighborhood Canada, salute to LA. You already know what's going on. But she, I seen her running around the gym. Like, I'm not saying she's healthy, but I seen her doing drills, running around the gym up and down the court. And that was as recent as Saturday. So,
all right.
I mean, I think that a lot of these players.
Yeah.
Right. Like Dejanay had a O on her name. A lot of players got O's on their name right now. But that's just because, and like we say, we got to hold them accountable. ESPN, be as efficient with these WNBA rankings and nights and totals as you are with the NFL. Let's update these injury reports. Let's make sure we know what's going on because we're enthused about the fantasy season. Don't do us like that.
Mm-hmm. Juju, 2 assists short of your parlay. I took it last night. Oh, my God. It was crushing. We were crushing.
Bruh, salute Doggy Dog, man. Salute Doggy Dog, Vandersloot from the New York. It wasn't even on her, bruh. It was because she was passing it to Sabrina, and Sabrina didn't have that wet shooting night like she was supposed to. But excuses are like buttholes. We all got one. So I lost the parlay yesterday, and I'm accountable.
All right.
Talking women's basketball, but going to the college game a little bit. I haven't been on the show since Lisa Bluter announced her retirement. I am so sad. I was devastated. And excited for Jan Jensen. She's going to be amazing. She's the perfect head coach. Juju, what was your reaction when you saw Lisa stepping down after back-to-back national championship title game appearances? We didn't win.
That is quite the way to present that.
Wait,
back-to-back?
Back-to-back national title game.
Are you saying Caitlin left, so she left? That's it?
No, that's absolutely not what happened.
Well,
Lisa's been
like
there for 24 years.
Right.
That's pretty much an entire Lucy.
And then
that's a long time.
She left
And then she left when Caitlin left.
I mean, look, we all get on Tom Brady for not leaving when he climbed the mountaintop. So, shoot, I feel like she understands. Lisa done went to back-to-back championships in Iowa. Like, how in the hell?
Did that. Caitlin did that.
I mean, nah, that's a teamwork. When you got your lacrosse trophies for being the coach of the champion team, did you help out at all, or was it just all the players?
It was all the players. I didn't do anything. I got to be honest with you. I just rolled the ball out. I mean, that's what I did. We were stacked, Juju.
Well, Lisa was a little bit more involved than you were, I'd say, because she had to understand, like Hannah Stelke, like they have so many things that go into a season and confidence getting like up and down that roster. Gabby, I think that she instilled the confidence required that all of them could make it, not just Caitlin. Excuse me. Pardon me.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I think it's a she deserves all the. We supposed to put her on. We supposed to lead some of these shows with Blue to retiring, like the same way we do. I think
you.
Like Vanderveer, like we didn't give her enough attention when she retired. Stanford for all these years, bro. These goats are retiring in our faces, and we like, what's next? Like, nah, bro, that's a legend, sis.
No, I 100% agree. I'm curious. I hope to hear from Lisa soon in the next few days. I wonder how much of a factor like NIL and sort of this new recruiting age in especially women's college basketball, which is quickly eclipsing the men's, played a part in her decision.
Like it drove Saban from the game?
Yeah. Like it's harder now. You have to do double the recruiting. Like Iowa was active in the transfer portal and bringing Lucy Olson in. Like there's so much more that goes with it. So I'm curious if that played a factor in it or not. But let me tell you, Jan Jensen, that woman is going to lead us back to the national title game, and we'll win it this time. Not this year. Not this year. When Addie Deal gets to Iowa City.
You feel me? And underrated. Like, shoot, Lisa might want to get her groove back. She might want to go to vacation, man. It's time for Lisa to let her hair down and enjoy the fruits of her labor. You feel me? But before we get out of here, last night also, Lil Feezy, Nafisa Collier, and them girls, they took down the Storm. Now, the Storm got NECA. They got my girl, I can't think of it. The cameras, the lights. She knows what I call her. Skylar Diggins-Smith. They got a great roster over there as well as Jewel, Nneka Gumagwe, and Ezzy. I think that the expectation and the lights are bright for Seattle right now, and I think that the lights are very low for the Minnesota Lynx right now, and they could sneak in and take some of this shine away late season. Look out for the Lynx.
Juju, we're 2 wins away here from Knicks Celtics. I mean, I feel like if you ask Dan for Game 3 courtside seats at the Mecca for that series, Dan will get it done for you. He won't get it done for me, and don't tell him I'm coming with you. But I feel like if you ask him, he will get it done. What do you think?
Hey, I'm on it. I'm going to ask his ass.
Okay, but again, reminder, don't tell him I'm coming with you, okay?
Right.
Cause
yeah,
then he won't get it done.
I'm terrified for my Celtics right now. The way the Knicks are playing.
What?
The way the Knicks are playing.
Right.
We're not going through these same tests that they are, and we are playing soft as hell. And look, man, I'm worried.
Juju's been saying it all year. He really has. Right. Everyone's been praising the Celtics, and Juju's been worried.
They've been the best team, the most dominating team in the NBA the entire season. They're up 3-1 right now. What are you worried about?
A lot of blowouts.
Right, by the hair of their chinny chin chin.
Juju, the Knicks have 3.5 players. I mean,
and they all got heart, and they all will drive you. They all will take you to the rack right now.
They do.
The Celtics players, they will all shoot a half-court shot in rhythm. That's all they got.
All right, love you, buddy. See you Game 3 courtside, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So, Stugotz, I need to tell our audience and everyone here, wherever it is that you are tired of me talking about sports media, I totally get it. I am tired of me talking about it, too. It has been not just talking about it, but living it over the last few years has been quite the illuminating experience because our business is changing. Anybody who's been with us for this long knows everything that happened with us, and it's an interesting thing to, in the pandemic, leave a safe thing that's changing and just sort of push ourselves into an unknown future where you're fighting for yourself, you're self-employed, and the media landscape is totally changing. And, oh, look, during that time, Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce just built a giant entire empire. And look over here in that time. Shannon Sharp has decided to get in the game in a way that notices what McAfee is doing and says, well, I can be that because I'm going to be a workaholic late in life who competes the way I did at football and watch what I do now when I get some power and some business. And Stephen A. links up there and says, yes, welcome here, First Take. We'll have a platform and we'll build all our own shit on ESPN because ESPN is changing. Everyone sees the game, right? Everyone sees McAfee's renting. McAfee $17 million rents, comes in and engulfs Stephen A's salary and renting. They don't own McAfee. McAfee plays there and gives what he wants to them because he passed Stephen A. Let's not say in voice or face of a franchise, but did in money. And now Stephen A is coming up for a contract. And he just buried Skip Bayless. Mm-hmm. Ended his career because I told you at the beginning of this, Stugotz. Watch how the old guys in media who have always been the kings age, whether it's Jim Rome or Colin Cowherd, getting into business with Shannon Sharpe as we get into business with all the smoke and now try to make big deals in the realm where JJ Redick resides, where he's saying to himself, okay, I've built this really cool thing over here. It's a plaything. It's a hobby. Do I want to coach with LeBron? Charlotte job, not enough. I'm going to go to the head of the line. What do I want to do with my life as someone who regrets not being around for my child on Christmas days? Do I want to compete against the media where it's an easy win because it's not as tough? They all just realized it, Stugotz. All of them. Wait, all I got to do is beat Le Batard and Stephen A? All I got to do is beat Cowherd? Wait, the punter? McAfee can do that? How did he do that? I'm more famous than him. I'm
I
so
was a
much.
tight end.
I've got so Kelce builds that, and now Amazon's bidding for that, and Jason Kelce and his brother goes right to the front of the line. RG3, get out of here.
Yep.
You may have a media career, but it's not going to be on the biggest thing. No, Jason Kelce gets that. A center goes right to the front of the line. That happened in the last 3 years. That happened even though Travis Kelce was in Stugotz's ear in Tahoe. Hey, how do I do this? That all happened. How do I do this? How do I get to where you guys are? That's the conversation in Tahoe. And how does he do it? In 10 minutes.
Yep.
As soon as he gets into the game, he does it. Now, JJ Redick, and I'm sorry if you're tired of hearing it, but it's been my life for 3 years, and it's been the second worst thing in my life in those 3 years because all of these athletes are coming for gambling money that is keeping the entire industry alive as ESPN and Disney shake so much that they got to rent to McAfee, and here comes Kelce and Shannon Sharpe. How do I use your platform to build what Stephen A. Smith did as Stephen A. Smith? Every day on their air from 10 to noon is selling, I'm in a contract year, I'm the biggest voice you got, and I'm about to be a free agent to do whatever I want. Look at what I built here. I built this entire thing that has been number one for 12 years. I did it over Bayless. Bayless went over there and competed, did it the same way, lost. Has Paul Pierce using the N-word on Undisputed by accident because that entire thing is caved in as Shannon Sharpe and JJ Redick are sitting next to Stephen A. Smith, and he ages like that. I've told you I admire that man. Now, I don't love some of the things that he does to broaden audience because I don't think audience is always the most important thing. But as a conqueror, as a dude who knows how to win at this industry, there has never been anyone better because look at the teammates he has now, Stugotz. He's gone and grabbed the best you can grab at what it is that they do, which is make good television, and he's got total power in a contract year about to leave ESPN as all the athletes around it. You're paying Joe Buck what? You're paying Troy Aikman what? How are they worth more than I am? How am I getting? And he's got a production deal, so it's the big salary plus how do I build this with ESPN? Because you don't think that Omaha Productions and Tom Brady and Stephen A., you don't think he wants to compete with them there for the big money? How do I partner? Omaha's got a 10-year deal, Stugotz.
It's crazy.
It's all built around Eli and Peyton are willing to join you from their basements.
Yep. They are programming ESPN right now. Them and Pat
Correct.
McAfee.
It used to be Nick Khan of CAA who was programming ESPN. He is now doing the wrestling stuff. He's now in live television bringing wrestling to Netflix. So this game has been my life for the hardest 3 years of my life, and I'm fascinated by what it is that's happening.
Of course, yeah.
JJ Redick has been great on First Take. Great because he's smart. He knows the numbers. And now, do I want to do a podcast with LeBron James and build that empire? Because, man, it's great dominating, making interesting content about the sport I love. Or do I want to coach LeBron James? That's the choice that one of the people on First Take who has used First Take very well has, because the whole thing at ESPN is changing where everyone can lily pad, jump. You get there, they build your thing, you use them, you go to the next thing. McAfee can do that if he wants. You don't want Aaron Rodgers on next year? Okay, I'll do this somewhere else. You've helped me build it.
Or I'll get Belichick.
Right.
Or Saban.
Right, correct. Mm-hmm. And I will dominate whatever the future of ESPN becomes. But the thing I wanted to get to as it relates to JJ Redick and Doc Rivers, because Doc Rivers, before JJ Redick, played the media game better than anybody. Charisma, charm, doesn't matter how much I lose. I am great at just making you like me. And so I throw ESPN's entire broadcast plan for the NBA into total upheaval. They kick out Jeff Van Gundy. They make a spot for me because I've been let go, and I immediately jump, well, I can coach Giannis. Okay, I've got a better job over here in actual sports, not sports media, which the athletes know they can conquer. It's easy. Doc Rivers has conquered media. That's easy. What he can't conquer is above him. He's won one title with a team for all time that birthed all the super teams, and JJ Redick says things like this about him, and you will hear afterward Doc Rivers' recent rebuttal with Stephen A. Smith. So play all of that sound, please.
I've seen the trend for years.
What's the trend?
The trend is always making excuses. Doc, we get it. Taking over a team in the middle of the season is hard. It's hard. We get it. Just like getting traded in the middle of the season is hard for a player. We get it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always an excuse. It's always throwing your team under the bus. They lose to Memphis. Oh, it's his players' fault. Memphis was playing G League guys and two-way guys. And then you look at his quotes over the weekend. Now he wants to take credit for the James Harden trade to the Clippers working out. He wants credit for that. There's never accountability with that guy.
That was a couple of months ago, and everyone seized on it. A lot of people were hearing it for the first time, even though a lot of people know of Doc Rivers. He is extraordinary at the media game.
Yes, he
is. Just really great at how it is it that I get you to like me. Well, this is how. He rebuts JJ Redick when he's on Stephen A. Smith's show this way. And what I want you to listen to is how candy sweet he is all around it while really insulting JJ Redick.
JJ Redick was on the record getting on you pretty adamantly about some of the things that you were saying once you ultimately ended up in Milwaukee and talked about passing a buck or whatever. Did you two ever talk about that? Did you ever resolve that with one another?
No. JJ's had a problem with me for a while, and that's fine. Players do. One thing, when you coach, Stephen A., you can be called a player's coach or whatever you want to be called. But if you make decisions that the player doesn't agree with, in JJ's case, we didn't sign him back. With the Clippers, I stopped playing him as much because he wasn't very effective in the playoffs. And, that's all known. But I'm fine with that. Like, usually they all come back to you. They do. Because they know everything you tried to teach them or do for them was in good. JJ Redick's best numbers of his career was under one coach, and you're looking at him. Right here. I'm the one that grabbed him out of Milwaukee and decided to start him. From that point on, his career took off. All the movement plays, everything. First play of the game, every game. When we played with the Clippers, you would have coaches and teams come up to you and say, you're not going to score on that first play with JJ. And I would always say, just watch us. We're going to figure it out. So overall, nothing but love for JJ. Obviously, there's things he doesn't like, and I have no issues with him.
Nothing but love at the end.
That is a gift, man.
It's a gift if what you like is sandwiches. Because he said nothing but love, no issues, except for, I'm the reason for all of his success. And he wasn't effective in the playoffs, so I benched him, and he wasn't very good.
The coach for his best season, you're looking at
That's
him.
right. I'm the reason for his success. It is the version of Brady versus Belichick. I'm the reason you won. No, I'm the reason.
And nobody is really,
no one really won
but them.
Well, but they care, though. The greatest, the Doc at the end, like that is, God almighty, Doc, so insincere.
But lovable.
No,
like you can tell
fraudulent. And if you don't like accountability and you like fraudulent, lovable.
My guy.
It's easy to trick the media is my point. It's where I started, Stugotz.
I know.
The media's
We're idiots.
We won the media game. Look at what did that DraftKings segment. We won the media game. Do you know how easy it is to win the media game? It's filled with idiots.
I texted my friend Hannah and said, hey, do you want to make picks for us? And she said she's going to create her own algorithm to get picks for us. So, DraftKings, you are welcome. Yeah. She goes to Berkeley. Smart gal.
Eric Decker?
Please get Feldman to sponsor.
Ian.
No.
Oh.
No. your astrophysicist friend and her gambling knowledge so I can get rid of all these clowns who are polluting our contract year at DraftKings because we might not keep winning.
They were not clowns, they were mascots.
We might not keep winning the media game this year in a contract year.
We have a 20-year winning streak, though. I mean,
we're in danger.
We're going to take an L?
DraftKings this year could get any of the people who are competing against us.
Oh.
Like Hannah.
They don't have
my
Joey.
friend.
Ricky Prohl?
You did him already.
Oh, I did.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.